Shireen Bishmaya in Kerala, India, and I am making this video just on one of the last few days of Venus in Pisces before she moves into Aries, and we're also coming up on this full moon in Leo. So we're feeling a lot of heart energy, a lot of heart-centered energy. It's spilled coconut water all over my bag. It's very hot here, so we need to definitely stay hydrated with tons of coconut water. So wherever you are, I hope that you're having a beautiful Venus in Pisces infusion. Hopefully you're somewhere near a beautiful body of water or the ocean, or taking lots of nice Epsom salt baths, or just hopefully enjoying some soul time, some quiet time. Venus in Pisces is such a beautiful Venus position. She's exalted in Venus because she helps us really connect to higher levels of happiness, not so contingent on other people or specifically sensory pleasure, but more like soul essence pleasure or unconditional love, and the joy we find from giving to other people. It's really windy out here. The joy from giving is Venus in Pisces, not taking. That's the higher vibration of love, like thinking about what we can give or bring to a situation and not what we're not getting or what we should be getting. Venus in Pisces can be definitely the super empath. We feel other people's pain. And I was going to share this beautiful story. I actually posted about it in my blog, which I'll send a link to also. And I was trying to share it in the last video, but I got cut off. But I feel like it's such a beautiful Venus in Pisces, full moon in Leo story, which is, I call it the story of the crow and the monkey. And the other day, in the middle of the afternoon, I heard the crows just going wild. Like they're, in Amritapuri where I am, there's crows everywhere. And they were really upset about something. I could tell that something was really bothering them. So I ran upstairs to my rooftop, and there was a little crow caught in the net. It was so heartbreaking, and there was a monkey that was really trying to free him out of the net, and the monkey was like shaking the net, and he, like a human, went to me like, come here, come here, come here. And so I went to try to free the crow, but I didn't have anything on me that was sharp to like get him out. We couldn't get him unstuck. We needed to cut the net. So luckily my neighbor came with a knife, and we cut him out, and we cut the net, and he was fine. And so every day since then, the crow comes to visit me. They say that a crow never forgets your face, and crow is Shani. It's a Saturn animal, and they never forget a face. So this crow has been coming to visit every day. He comes to my balcony right outside my room. So just getting over a cough. I luckily finally got this amazing remedy, Ayurvedic remedy. I was like not able to make video for a few days because I couldn't stop coughing. Don't worry, I don't have the whatever it's called, I want to say the name of it, virus. But yeah, so it was such a touching story, and so I get to see the crow. The crow comes every day to visit, at least once or twice a day. And I recognize that it's the crow because he's missing some feathers, and also he's got some really unique coloring, really beautiful coloring on the back of his neck. So sweet, I don't know. So that to me is my Venus in Pisces, just like can't stand seeing other innocent creatures suffering, can't stand seeing suffering on any level, but especially animals, can't stand it. So yeah, you may have your own version of that, like whatever your own personal story is for, wanting to connect to that divine love, that unconditional love. As we come to Valentine's Day, it's a really beautiful lesson of Venus in Pisces, although in tropical Venus is going to be moving into Aries on Valentine's Day, so it's a little more self-centered, a little more independent. But that Venus, when Venus goes into Aries, it will be answering to Mars, which will be in Sagittarius, which then brings in a little bit of a more generous, more of a spiritual note behind the Aries. So it's not really super selfish, it's just more independent. But for a higher octave, for a higher purpose, higher consciousness is Sag. So we still have Mars in Sagittarius until the 16th of Feb. So right after Valentine's, Mars goes into his sign of exaltation. Venus is going to be in her fall. She's not so happy in Aries because she likes to give, she likes to be other oriented, and Aries is a little more me-centric. But it's actually a nice time to get in touch with our our independence. If we've been a little too needy or dependent or clingy, or sometimes the shadow of Venus and Pisces can be projecting the divine onto the human, and that can be a problem, trying to find that unconditional love in another human, which will always fail miserably because humans are just not built that way, unless you find a really evolved human, of course. But even then, it's still going to pale compared to divine love, right? So, but usually when Venus is in Pisces, we tend to seek more of a higher love, like that song goes. Oh my God, this is so beautiful. Wait, look. Right as I said, higher love, right? So we can enjoy the wrap of a Venus in Pisces over the next few days. Like, just do something. Think about how you would want to express your closest version of unconditional love. Like, how could you get closest to unconditional love, and what does that mean for you? And it could mean like doing your own soul work and connecting to your own, whether it's dance or music or chanting, meditation. I've been teaching dance here, which I love, and it's helped a lot of women here move through emotions, and I was recommending that for Venus and Pisces in my last video. So I think to continue that, and when Venus goes into Aries in a few days, I think it's on Friday actually, Venus changes signs. Yeah, on Venus Day, this Friday. So today when I'm making this video, it's Wednesday in India. So this Friday on Venus Day, we're gonna have that shift. So let's see how we feel then. But we'll still need the physical outlets when Venus is in Aries, and we might need something to some cause to champion, or we might feel like we need something more competitive, or something more physical. But let's talk about the full moon in Leo now, because that's coming up this weekend, right after the shift of Venus going into Aries. We've got this other fiery energy. Oh wait, I'm going to come back to Venus and Aries actually, because there's an important signature that's happening right around this full moon. So, but first and foremost, so the full moon in Leo is going to have this really powerful aspect from Mars. So it's a heart-centered full moon, as I mentioned in the last video, and it's really calling on us to summon our courage and our strength. Leo is the strength archetype in the tarot. In the original Rider-Waite deck, it's the 8th major arcana, like the infinity symbol, and it's about gentle strength, though. It's about summoning inner strength that allows you, the kind of inner strength that actually allows you to be gentle, not the type that is forced. It's not about forcing your way or muscling your way through things right now. It's finding that heart strength that really allows you to sit back and trust that, the divine, your heart, which is connected to the divine source, is in the driver's seat. Like, many spiritual teachers use this analogy of, once you're on the train, why are you still holding onto your luggage? Like, put the luggage down. There's no reason to carry it. So if we trust, I think that real strength is trusting that, the divine has our back, so we don't have to carry the weight anymore. We can rest in the heart and find that really deep inner strength that's fearless. So much of spiritual practice is connecting to a fearlessness, I've realized, because if you're afraid, you can't really be in the heart. Like, you'll shrink away from expressing your love. You might withhold your love. You might, like, if I had had fear, I would have been afraid of the monkey attacking me, and I would have had a hard time freeing if that was my first instinct, not the love to free the crow, I probably would have remembered in that moment that monkeys can attack, which actually he did kind of come after me at one point because another lady came with a broom. But I didn't even think about that when I was worried about the crow being stuck. So when love is like the higher vibration of fear, it always overrules fear when you're called to love. So the Leo full moon really reminds us to rise in love and summon that courage. That's why spirituality is so much about really strengthening ourselves and developing our courage, because how are we going to love fiercely? How are we going to love unconditionally? How are we going to serve the world if we're hiding out in the shadows of fear and doubt and shame? And so we have to do that work. I mean, we all suffer from those feelings. Of course, it's part of human nature, especially if we have trauma. But Leo comes, it's like the healing balm of the heart. It's the remedy of the heart. So the only way, the heart is another muscle, right? The only way to strengthen it is to express it and not hold back. And I love that there's a trend for this Valentine's Day with people really talking about moving it beyond the romantic concept, which of course is lovely, but going beyond that to self-love. And really, even self-love is kind of a misnomer, because what real self-love is connecting to the inner divine love. I'm actually going to be holding a class called The Inner Chamber a few days before Valentine's, an online class on the 11th of February. So I'll put a link under the video, so hopefully you can join. And, you know, I think it's really important during this Leo full moon time to really work on opening and strengthening the heart and looking at whatever blocks the heart, you know, whatever fears or pain or wounds from the past are actually blocking us, blocking the heart. This is a chance for us to open our heart, you know, and get out of the thing with the Aquarius full moon. The Leo full moon under the Aquarius cycle is that we're balancing that kind of rational, intellectual energy of Aquarius, which often it's super intelligent, it's so creative, it's so experimental and ahead of its time. But the shadow of that is it can be like AI a little too much, like robotic, you know, relying on machines and losing touch with the heart. So we don't want to lose touch with the heart. We don't want to be so objective and so Queen of Swords like, or King of Swords like, that we lose connection to the heart and to our feelings and to that realm which, you know, still has the love behind it. You know, you don't want to just be only thinking about the practical or the intellectual, like where we're divorced from the heart. Too much head and not enough heart, which we tend to be in this society. So we want to really balance the head of Aquarius, the intellect, because Mercury is exalted in Aquarius. He just left Aquarius and he's in Pisces now, where he's going to go retrograde. Also, the same day that Mars moves into Capricorn, we have Mercury going retrograde on the 16th. So right after Valentine's Day, there's two powerful shifts next week where the Mercury retrograde in Pisces could bring up a lot of opportunities to look at our projections, you know, how we project our imagination onto people, places, and things, for better or worse. And then Mars being in Capricorn, though, helps us to become very strategic with our plans, and it really helps us to do the right thing. You know, Mars in Capricorn is all about like timing, strategizing, and having a plan that's going to work, and working your plan. Planning your work and working your plan is Mars in Capricorn. So I think we're going to really enjoy that. And then all the planets are direct until Mercury goes retrograde. So that's why February feels like it's flying already. I was trying to think about why January felt like an eternity. You know, everybody's been making those jokes about that was a really intense year, January. And of course, 2019 felt like a decade. But now January was like its own decade, or somebody said like 2,000 years. I don't know. It was epically long and dragged out. And so February, on the contrary, seems to be flying by. I don't know what changed. Maybe all the planets direct. Maybe finally having the sun separate from Saturn. That was like slow motion time. I definitely feel that lifting. That was heavy. Just very dense. But I kind of missed like the discipline of that. There was something nice about all that constriction. Now it's almost like too many options feeling, you know. And you might have noticed since Mercury went into Pisces that it's harder to stay focused. You have to watch your tendency to drift with your mind and get into like scrolling and Instagram and all of that. It's really easy to get caught up in images when Mercury's in Pisces, and distractions and movies and videos, and not really having like strong focus. So we have to work a little harder. I have to set like alarms or reminders, or just like check in when I catch myself kind of being distracted and not having an intentional focus, just being online and then, you know, sort of wandering around from different windows on my computer, on my phone. So this is a time when we can really get caught up in that. So it's important to, be more intentional, I would say. And the other things for this full moon in Leo to look at with that aspect from Mars is that it's very expansive. It's definitely bringing us into a higher, more elevated place of courage where we want to love at a higher level. That's, I think, the gift of it. And then wherever Leo is in your chart, especially it's the middle of Leo, I know in Vedic astrology, it's in a really intense nakshatra called the Shlesha, which is the entwiner. So there can also be it's a very intense nakshatra of feeling bound and really kind of caught up in your negative emotions. So we have to watch for that as well. I remember having that full moon around Valentine's Day in 2012, and it was quite intense. I don't know, there might have been another one in that nakshatra since then, but I specifically remember because I was in India in 2012, and it was right around Valentine's Day, that full moon in Shlesha, and that is the one nakshatra where there tends to be a lot of people that take their own lives because it's quite heavy. It just really makes us feel caught or trapped in a way. So just watch if you're feeling a little triggered or trapped emotionally, and with Mars setting that off, it could amplify the experience. Oh my god, it kind of looks like my crow friend, but I don't think he'd be all the way over here. Is it? No. I was gonna say that'd be too much. I'm all the way at the beach now. But yeah, the entwiner. So also looking at what really binds us, sometimes our attachments can be so painful and we don't know any other way out, and we want out of that pain of the attachment or the addiction. Leo is also about overcoming our addiction in tarot, because strength has a lot to do with, sometimes it's called the lust card, so it has to do with really battling our addictions and overcoming our addictions. Actually, my next Project 40, starting on February 23rd, is going to be about addiction. I'm doing another one on addiction. It's called Dreams, Disillusionment, and Dependency. But the heart of it is like looking at our addictive tendencies. We all have addictions. You don't have to be an alcoholic or, addicted to drugs or cigarettes. You can be addicted to food, relationships, workaholic, Instagramaholic, Facebookaholic, attention whoreaholic, tarotaholic. I call it oracle whore. We can have all kinds of addictions, we all have them. It's just a way we distract ourselves from the moment. So we're going to be looking at that, and how this year with all these Capricorn energies, really a crackdown on whatever we do to avoid being in the present moment. You can feel like it's harder to escape. Saturn's really kind of cracking down on us and being like, look, you only have so much time here. Time is your most precious commodity. Time is God. Time is fleeting. Time is going fast. I mean, even though January was 2,000 years, time is really, we blink and our life is over. So what are we wasting our time on? We don't have time to waste. So do what you love. That's what the Leo full moon is saying. Do what you love. Be with the people you love. Express your love. And just be in love. Just be love. My guru says, there should be no divider. You don't even have to say I love you. It's just take the I and the you out then, because love is trapped between those two. Just be the love. I mean, of course, it's a beautiful expression. We can still say I love you because that touches the heart. I'm not saying to give that up, but just to look at the possessiveness behind it. Go beyond that. Doesn't mean you can't express it, because of course that's a beautiful expression. But just to realize we are love. We don't need an I and a you even to feel the love. I mean, the I and the you are the same, right? So, in the highest realm anyway. Okay, well, I think I've preached enough. That's also this Mars and Sagittarius influence, a little bit preachy. So forgive me if I sound like I'm preaching at you. Hopefully I'm preaching to the choir. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Have a beautiful full moon, and I hope I remembered everything. If not, I'll be back to make more videos. So I really appreciate you watching. And I recommend, if you have a tarot deck, pull the Strength card out, put it on your altar, meditate on that for this full moon this weekend. And I think it'll give you a lot of insights, and hopefully it'll show up in your dreams in some way. Okay, thanks so much for watching, and share this with all your friends and family.